Once upon a time, there was 6 chickens traveling through space, light speed, aboard their ship. And all of a sudden, they came out of hyperspeed. And it was a malfunction in the system, and nobody was ready, and everybody got splatted. But these 6 chickens were in a private room having a gravity field video game contest. And so they didn't die because they were in a gravity field. So they had to come out, and they saw everybody dead, and they were on the planet, and their ship was going to be out of oil and out of energy very soon. So the only thing they could do, they thought logically, was to go down to the planet and try to get oil back so they could get their ship running. And so they beamed down to the planet, and the 6 chickens were Dragnus, Maxwell, Boo Guts, George Vay, and Blackie. And so they were down on the planet, and they went up to the oil field, and they were like, oh, this will be great. We're going to fill up our helmets just to get the ship moving, and then they could move the ship over and fill it up. But out of this oil field came a giant porcupine monster, and they were like, what? And all the oil started dripping off of him, and he said, what do you want on our planet? And they said, to be your friends and get some oil so we can drive. And he was like, come with me. And he gave them helmets to put on, and they went down underneath the oil field. And they went to go see the king of the porcupine people. And he said, what do you guys want on our planet? And they said, we just want help. And they said, oh, that's great. You guys seem like really great chickens. We should really help you. And then they all started closing in on all sides. And they were like, we love having chickens to eat. And they were like, no! And Dragnus, quick thinking, ran over, and he cut the chain to the chandelier, and it fell right on top of the king. And immediately all the porcupine people started bowing down to Dragnus. And they were like, you killed the king. You are the new leader. And Dragnus was like, thinking quick. He was like, okay. My first order of business, send these 5 to the dungeon. And they were like, what? He's like, yeah, they never did anything good for me. Send them away. And the friends were really pissed. All his sisters and brothers and cousins were like, what the hell? You can't do this to us. And he's like, ha 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 ha. But then after he was on the crown, or actually after he had them sent away, then he was like, next step, ice cream. He figured he'd use the occasion to get a little ice cream in. So he sat there eating for a while he was devising a plan. And then he said, take me to where they're hidden in the dungeon. And he went down the dungeon, and he told the guard to take off and that he'll deal with these traitors. And so he walked away, and he opened the jail cell, and they started digging a hole at the end of the prison to get out. And they got out through the oil and swam up to the top, but the porcupine people saw what was going on, and so they came out of the oil field, and they started chasing them back to their ship, and they were like, no! And the porcupine guys were shooting quills at them out of their little quill bodies, and one of them stuck Maxwell right in the butt, and he was like, and he started running all funny, and he fell down, and George Vay and Blackie had to grab him real quick and help him up and run. And Boo Guts ran ahead because he was super fast, and he pushed the button to close the door on the spaceship right as everybody was jumping in, and there was 100 billion quills shooting at him at the same time. They all hit the ship and bounced off. So they got in the ship, and they said, oh my gosh, we only have enough gas to get the heck out of here. And so they jumped up, and they flew the ship right into the oil field, and they were able to scoop up a bunch of the oil and have just enough to continue on their adventure. The end.